All right, welcome. My name is Bonnie Negron, owner of Bonnie Career Services and the founder of the Career Shakeup Club community. And today I have an amazing guest, a client, a friend, someone who just, anytime you talk to her, you can't help but smile and just feel that you're in a place of warmth and motivation. And it just really feels so good to be able to share this room with you today. I welcome my client, Dee. How are you, Dee?
Hi, nice to see you again, Bonnie.
Well, first, tell us a little bit about you. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your experience that you have, and what is your unique skill set. Tell us a little bit about who Dee is and what does she do.
Oh, well, I am Dee Lamore and I'm a leader, and I have definitely been recognized as a leader and a value in all the organizations that I've been involved in. My unique skill set is sales,
And tell us,
coaching.
yeah, and what is it
Yeah.
that, how did you start your career? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Oh, I started my career as a nurse. And within the nursing, I have evolved into mental health nursing with pediatrics. So I was a nurse in the school setting with kids with autism for 15 years. So that gave me a special love and a place for kids with mental health issues and their families.
That's so amazing. And then we worked together, about a year and a half or so as you decided to make a change and make a pivot. So going from nursing and then you wanted to go into the private sector, correct? So why don't you tell us a little bit about why you wanted to make that pivot at that time?
Well, if we remember a couple of years ago, what was going on was COVID,
Yeah.
and the nurses were just getting blasted.
Yeah.
And, I've been in the nursing one-to-one nursing for a long time. So I decided I wanted to pivot and learn. I'm a lifelong learner. So I wanted to learn about business. So instead of going traditionally back to school, I decided to go ahead and basically follow an entrepreneur
Mhm.
and get the inside details of how to do that and be taught.
Yeah, yeah. And you've been paving your own way. You've been trying different things and I mean, you're just rocking it. I mean, always so open to different options. And I think that's the biggest thing, and I want you to talk a little bit about that. Is a lot of times people do feel, right, that if they want to make a change from what they've been doing, whether to a new field or a new industry or both, they have to take a pay cut, right? Like, was that something that you thought before you worked with me?
Oh, absolutely. I was just, not valuing myself.
Mhm.
Sorry, got a little tongue tied there, but valuing myself and my skill set and what that actually was worth. With your career coaching, I was able to look outside the box. Like, wait a minute, this is valuable. There, and with this value, there's also a price tag with that value. So
Yeah.
I was able to up level negotiation skills, actually reevaluate what skill sets I had and what I could bring to the corporate America, and how I could serve in other ways. So that was huge.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely coming from a nursing field, obviously you have so much empathy and patience. What are some other things that you bring to the table that you recognize you can use in other environments outside of the nursing field? What are some of those other things that you bring to the table?
Funny you should ask that, is actually statistics and budgeting, and
Uh,
to be a manager, to
yeah,
manage things, to be able to look at charts and to forecast.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, you
That's
don't
something.
do a lot of that when you're nursing, right? But this now you're doing that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, in contracts. So I actually write up contract, can look through the contracts and for loopholes and things, and are very detail oriented with that. Besides the fact, hugely the marketing skills with being able to put together MailChimp and other things that go along with that.
Yeah, amazing. So, what was your biggest challenge or struggle in the career journey before learning our coaching methods?
Honestly, I didn't know where to start. So you just go on Indeed and just start putting things, just like spaghetti, just throwing anything at the wall, hoping it will stick, and to see, oh, will I get a call back or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah,
But what is huge with your coaching is there's a strategy to getting a job that is for you, that is structured for you,
mm.
and that you'll be happy with. Not just there's a secret sauce there that Bonnie has definitely created that You have to go in, and if you follow and trust, it works. It works.
Awesome,
Totally.
awesome. Thank you for that.
Uh-huh.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did our program specifically address your needs to help you with your job search journey?
Well, I can tell you LinkedIn, I never even opened a LinkedIn, didn't have a LinkedIn account, was just kind of intimidated by LinkedIn because as my career as a nurse, I was never out of a job. I always needed, I was never had to go out and actually sell myself, so to
Mhm.
speak, you know. But when I wanted to pivot to something else, for one, your coaching helped me be clear about what it was that I wanted. What did I want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of all that millions of things and going out for every job, it
Yeah.
gets very specific and centered towards your individuality. Okay. And your core values.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that speaks volumes.
Awesome. And you're like now the LinkedIn queen.
I would have never, ever
Following
even
you on
known.
LinkedIn. It's awesome. Yeah. And then you talked to me also about the negotiation piece being huge, a big part of you being able to negotiate your last salary. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. So when you are in the program, you get an actual 14-day salary negotiation. So this is huge. Like this is something again I didn't really value. I didn't really know that I could negotiate. Like that wasn't even in my realm of thinking. And then to really value who you are and what skill sets that you bring to the table. So with my last career, I was able to level up to 40% pay increase from my
Amazing.
last job. So thank you for that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, you definitely did the work, but yeah, no, it really helps to once you know your worth, your value, your core values, what it is that you want, it's easy to be able to know what you can negotiate for. It made it
Yes.
that much easier to say, wow, I am worth this, or this is what I want, this is what my non-negotiables are, and you have that clear plan.
Right, exactly. And not to be a yes person. You say
Yeah,
yes to everything.
absolutely. Well, could you describe a specific moment from our coaching program or technique that empowered you to continuously stay prepared for future job opportunities?
Yes, definitely. With the programming, you have support for one, and leadership was like at the core with you at the helm of the leadership. I mean, you're the bomb.com, let me tell
Aw.
you. You were able to put a place for people that are leaders and executives to all come into one pot, melting pot, and to discuss our careers and what our goals are, which, many of us have different goals. We have come from different backgrounds, educations, and what had happened in this specific for me, I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want to do the traditional school.
Mhm.
And I thought to get to the salary that I wanted, I would have to go back to school.
Right.
And you said, Dee, no, you don't. You
Yeah.
don't. You have all these skill sets. You do traditional. I do a lot of investing in myself where I will go and do business classes and different things and gain that knowledge without having the 4-year degree that is usually required for getting a job. But you said no. You stuck with me and said no, you don't have to do that. You definitely can have that salary range. You have all these skills and definitely you can definitely have that if that's what you wanted, and you were right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so now as you had the position, that position ended, but now you went into another job search and you reached out because you were like, what was so different now in this job search compared to your job search before we started working together?
Well, in me, there's just so much confidence because I have a roadmap.
Mhm.
Okay. I have a roadmap. I had met many friends I could reach out to with different expertise. So if I see something that maybe I'm not the strongest at, and that's okay, you don't have to be everything, I can reach out to a professional colleague and they can lift me at that more. Or if I have a question, they can answer that for me because you have a built in group
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
of professionals,
Yeah.
so that is just like the key to, and everybody's so nice and friendly. They're like, yeah, sure, I'll help you.
Yeah, yeah. So would you say that you're better prepared now in a job search because you have gained the education, you gained the tools, the knowledge, and the research? So now, like any time that you're in a job search, you're going to know exactly what to do and what not to do.
That is, you hit the nail right on the head because the anxiety when somebody says, oh, well, your job is ending for whatever reason, there's a lot of layoffs and whatnot going out. Not only are you now in competition with the masses, you have that confidence inside of you. You're not having the anxiety of what to do. What am I going to do? I don't know. This actually gives you the confidence to come up the cream of the crop.
Mhm.
I don't always know what that person is looking for. And just to be able to get through the gatekeeper, I should
Yeah,
say.
absolutely.
And once I get through the gatekeeper, people are usually like, oh, wow, I need to know more about this person. So you can't
Absolutely.
really tell everything on a LinkedIn ad or your resume,
Yeah.
because there's probably 1,000 people out there that have, perfect resumes. Because, I mean, you did a perfect job on my resume. Thank you very much. But, there's probably, like I said, the competition is fierce.
Right.
And it's just like an athlete, you practice. So
Right.
you gave me the tools, you gave me the regimen, you gave me the how to's. So this time around, the job search isn't scary.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. That's so good. So, what is one piece of advice that you would give to others who are currently in a job search?
What I would say is get a professional. You need that
Even the
guide,
athletes
okay?
have the coaches, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. You need
Yeah.
that guide to get you from here to there. Otherwise, you're in what we like to say the wilderness. And sometimes we can get lost and just keep spinning in the wilderness. If you don't have a map, how do you know where you're going to go? I
Yeah.
mean, you might think it, have a vision in your head, but without a map or have a guide, how are you going to get there?
Yeah.
If you truly want the job that you are made for, if you want to level up and get paid what you're worth. I mean, you could possibly do that, but I feel like that's what I would tell somebody right now is you need help. You need a guide. You need a coach. And you know what? There's coaches out there for everybody in every industry.
Yeah.
So this should not be any different.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That is so awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dee, for sharing your story. Anybody wants to connect with Dee for a beautiful dose of motivation, inspiration. And what is that? What is your motto you told me earlier?
Yeah, I lead
Yeah.
with kindness, and you don't have to have that iron fist to lead. I know I'm probably not going to say this right, but I love the quote from Nelson Mandela lead from behind, like the shepherd, where they don't even know they're being leaded. They're not being led.
Yeah.
So that's how I take my leadership is usually people are nice and quiet and I lead them where I want them to go, but they don't know that.
Yeah. Well, you're amazing. That's why. And it's so great to be in the room with you. If anybody wants a dose of motivation, please connect with Dee on LinkedIn, follow her. She is amazing. And I am so excited for the next step of your journey, Dee. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me and with everybody who's watching.
Thank you so much, Bonnie.